Having a hard time getting to masters in a solo, trio, or a team? In this video, we're going to cover some mistakes you might be making that are costing you easy wins and how you can fix them over the next few games you play. Make sure you watch all 3 of the mistakes I cover and their solutions, as fixing one without fixing the other is just going to open up more problems in your gameplay. I'm Suluwu, 2024 Unite Worlds player with thousands of hours invested, and it's my job to help you using my knowledge so you can have more fun and enjoy more games of Pokémon UNITE. I've made all these mistakes before and I've found the fixes over hundreds of hours of playing, so take it from me and use this valuable advice to save yourself the same fate. Before we jump in, don't forget, of course, leave a sub on the channel for more breakdown videos so you can climb even faster in UNITE, and don't forget to comment your favorite character and maybe a mistake that you think you're making in your current gameplay. So jumping right into it, what is mistake number 1? It's gonna be very clear. Not getting enough XP, and the way I'm going to break this down is there's 2 types of not getting enough XP. There's not getting enough XP as in you're not getting enough XP as a carry player and you're not getting enough XP as a support player. Now, how I break this down, the clear differentiator between the 2 roles is XP share and no XP share. No XP share is going to define a carry player and XP share is going to define a support player. What I mean by not getting enough XP. So that's going to be, and we're going to draw on the map here just to keep it nice and clear. That's going to be like, not doing optimal clears. So it's like, when we're running up to this lane and we have an objective here that we can't contest, we don't take the Ordinos. When we go down to the bot lane and do the same thing, like, there's 6 or whatever cramps and there's bees, I'm going to go and fight instead of doing the bees. These are little things that make sure as a carry player you don't get enough XP. It means like, you're not clearing your jungle every minute. So this is on a minute cooldown. You should be taking it every minute. If it's not getting taken every minute, you are leaving XP on the table. These are all little things that as a carry player you might be missing out on, and as a support player you might be doing the exact same thing, but in the support version, which is like just the same thing, right? Seeing someone to fight, not staying around for the residual XP. It's around the range of an Eldegoss auto attack, so you want to be within that range when a minion, or I like to call them minions, but the Ordinos, Bumblebees, or whatever in the map is getting taken, you want to be within that Eldegoss auto range. And this also applies to kills. If you're a long-range sniper character, the big ones that get affected are Mew, Decidueye, Inteleon, you might not be getting enough speed, because if you don't get the kill, so the way XP works in Pokemon UNITE is if you take the kill or you defeat the creature, whatever it is, you will get 100% of the XP or 50% depending on how many people are around, and it gets lower and lower depending on how many people are there. However, the key aspect of this is if you take it, you're going to get the majority, whereas there is a range, right? Like we're talking about, like the Eldegoss auto attack range, that applies to characters as well. So if you're getting lots of assists, like sniping everyone, and you get nothing there, you don't get any of the kills, you are getting no XP. That is a very, very, very key part to remember and think about, because you are in an XP range, and all of a sudden, like you doing all this damage and you think you're helping us so much, but then you end up under-leveled. You ended up under-leveled because you don't know about how XP works, and you've been punished now because you aren't able to carry the game because you're not high level. So that's just one way to look at it from the carry perspective, and the same thing applies to supports. Make sure you're nice and close to people when you do take kills or you do help out the team getting kills. Supports tend to get less kills than anyone else. They get a lot of assists. You need to make sure you're close with the assists, close to the place where the enemy was taken down. That's how you make sure you get your experience. So basically the way I like to look at it is the carries don't force enough XP, they don't eat enough, and supports don't leech enough. And this is going to be a bad thing that you're doing, because when you are lower level, you're going to have less stats. You're going to have less agency, you're going to have less powerful abilities. Everything in the game is harder as a lower level. When you get higher level, you're going to be able to do more. The game becomes a little more fast paced for you. If you're level 15, as any character, you're going to be a lot more impactful as a level 10. So let's try to get higher levels every single game. And how are we going to do that? So we're going to fix our farming patterns. Like, if you know that this respawns every minute, you're going to be there every minute, and you're going to think, okay, well, I'm going to play around that minute. So if I'm going to run down here, yada yada, we fight around here, and then I come back and I go clear this farm, and if I want to go back, I go to this lane, or I can go to the mid bees. All this way of thinking, like if there's Ordinos up, like the carries often miss this. If I'm fighting in this lane and I overextended and there's no more fights to had, and I know the jungle hasn't respawned, I should immediately recall, come up here, take that, then look into this area, because maybe something else might have respawned. Maybe I can look up here, and it's a rinse and repeat. I push up here, I know nothing else, another minute has passed on these Ordinos, and I recall, I call B, back to base, go back to base, and do the exact same rotation. Like that's immediately 10 times more efficient, 10 times better. Because when you flounder around here, you're just trying to look for kills, running up and down, eventually getting killed. You might die, you 20-second death timer. you might have spent 20 seconds running around. In that time, there could have been literally another rotation, because it's going to take you 20 seconds to take down all 3 of the units. So if you thought about it, you just wasted an entire minute's worth of experience, which is actually usually 30% of a level. You wasted 30% of a level in a game already. Gone. Just like no one got it. It's thin air. Boom, vanished. Terrible. As a support player, it's the exact same thing. It's like yeah, obviously you do need a scout. You need to control these areas. You need to be present in this like part of the map. However, it's like if your carries are off farming and there is no one there to help you fight, what are you achieving? Like, I understand getting vision. Vision is great, but you should go back then. I got the vision. Like, you have to be on the timings of your carries. If your carries are going to farm all game, it's better that you're just there soaking up the experience. You can't kill anyone by yourself, or you're not going to. It's going to be a team effort. Pokemon Unite, unite together. So that's very much one way of fixing it. Let's walk with the carries for farm, and let's have better farming patterns. So that's how we'll fix the first problem, and you're getting a lot more XP now. Now that we're getting that, you're becoming more valuable on the map, you're doing more damage. It's going to make what happens next, the next mistake that I'd like to mention, way worse if you don't fix this. And that's just not actually doing anything with the experience. So like we're talking about farming, you get really high level. If you spend the whole game farming and not doing any actions and positive actions, you're going to just be behind. A lot of really good players get stuck into this mindset. They're like, okay, well, I'm only going to play off Unite moves. I'm only going to do things off Unite moves. You're effectively going AFK. Like, the way I like to describe this is, if your carry never stops farming, it's always looking for defense, your non-offensive plays are going to be so muted that it becomes very positive, very reactable to. It's so obvious that you're going to make an aggressive play because we know that you've just used Unite move, you're not going to do anything now. You're not going to fight outside of defending. So if you know that we're not going to fight outside defending, enemy team, if they get better and better at the game, they're going to go and invade you. They're going to go and take a space on the map because you will not be looking to fight and you will be picked off and taken off guard. If your team's just playing full on defense, you're going to get exploded and caught out. This is what happens in the game because you can't all just use your Unite moves then. You literally need to save Unite moves so you can never come to a fight full force. And there's 2 very clear fights in the game that happen constantly. Okay, oh my goodness. Didn't want to work correctly. Why is it working like this, man? Yeah, there's 2 very clear fights in the game that happen every 2 minutes and a half. Why is it not letting me draw down here? That's so silly. Anyway, 2 minutes, every 2 minutes and 30, there's going to be a fight in this area, and it starts at 7 minutes 30. So there should literally be like 1 to 2 fights every game about this, like guaranteed fights. If you're playing for literally only those fights, you cannot defend pads. Do you understand that? Like, that's a very, very bad thing because you're looking to use all your Unites and then play passive and farm the whole game. You're not going to be able to defend pads because the enemy team just holds out. I mean, you can think about it like this. If the enemy team's like, oh, okay, you're only going to do that, well then if we just go and, nuke ourselves down bot lane, it doesn't matter. Because if we nuke ourselves down bot lane, we don't use any ults, and you guys use ults, you won't be able to defend the top lane push. Because we're going to have like 5 ults and you're going to have like 1. And all of a sudden your Unite moves are not going to do anything because they're going to have so many more resources than you. You're going to get wiped out, give out the XP, lose the pad, and lose control of the jungle. And you're going to get punished, and the game snowballs from there. So this pretty much becomes this idea, like XP shares are meant to help the team and not themselves. Like, you can't also just do nothing. You guys have to look actively together. So as I explained, it's terrible because you're going to end up falling behind in the way that you get very high leveled. You get punished with longer death timers, you get punished by giving more experience, and you ultimately don't make anything out of having that higher level. The game, like, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but like, if you want to play like a monster farming simulator, there's other games to play. Like, there's farming simulator, everything else. You need to be active in Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite's like about brawling and fighting and very fast-paced and explosive gameplay. That's just sort of what happens. So how do I like to fix this? There's 2 things I like to do. There's the Unite move check, Unites, and then I like to do the level check. And then there's also farm check. So, Unite move check, do I have it? Yes. Okay, consider fighting. That's the next one. Level check, am I higher level? Yes, consider fighting. Yes. That's also considering enemy Unite moves. Level check on the enemies is even important because then you know who to target. And then the last thing is farm check. Do they have their farm? Do I have my farm? Check. Do I have farm up? Okay, well then maybe I won't fight. But if they have farm up and I don't, maybe I should fight. That's exactly how I like to think about it. These 3 level checks quickly and easily help out how you're going to look at the game and make you a lot more proactive on the map, able to do a lot more things. So now that we fixed the experience, we're being more aggressive, we're making actual moves on the map, what could possibly be the last mistake? Like, it sounds like we're getting a really good idea. Especially because like you're getting XP, and now you're getting leads on the map. So it's timing objectives. And why timing objectives? Like, I mean, like, doesn't everyone go to the objectives on time? Yes, you do, but you often go there by yourself. You often go there alone, and you often get caught out and trapped unaware and end up dying for that mistake. You end up making a mistake, and then your team pays the price because you might be higher level, looking for fights, might not have teammates there, might be there too late, might be there too early. You need to time the objectives correctly. So carries that go in alone, they do get punished. You need to be aware of that. So don't go in alone. XP shares are meant to scout the bushes, not die in the bushes. This is a key, big key thing, but I'm going to talk about this in another video. But like the bushes and the bush camping, as XP shares, you need to just stop dying in bushes. You need to really like be aware, okay, well, if the enemy casts me and I die, how bad is it for my team? So like, how can I make sure that I don't get instantly camped and killed without any chance of retaliation? Because obviously there's times where you can't avoid it. Someone needs to check it. Someone needs to use an ability in the bushes. Use it, you get pulled or hooked or whatever it is, like, you know, ice fanged, stunned, slept, and you just get one shot. Sometimes it happens. But what you need to do after, and you need to think about this, is like, okay, if my teammates are nearby, they can hit them back, they can stall them, they can force the resets. All these things can happen. But if they aren't there, if I went in alone because I thought I was a mighty hero and invincible warrior and I died, now my team lost everything. Because as you can imagine, if you're like a Blissey checking this bush, you get taken down and then the enemy team is just going to completely take control of this quadrant. So that's become so negative. And this all comes down to the fact of like space control. For this objective, for this objective, and for this objective. It all comes down to space control, and space control dictates how the fights are going to play out. Because Unite, as I said, is segmented really into a fighting game around like, you know, these key points and, you know, key abilities and key levels. And if you can set up a certain situation where key levels don't matter because the character that is the highest level can't actually impact the game without too much risk, well, then you set yourself up for the winning situation, because ranged characters are weak to assassins. Bruiser characters are weak to ranged characters when they can't go in, and assassins are strong against ranged characters. So when you have this sort of like gameplay asset, like you think, okay, well, the assassin can easily execute our guy, and our ranged character then can't play the game because he can't deal damage to the bruisers, it becomes a complete stump. So how do we like to fix this? I like to do two different things. It's called triangle theory, which is like, you know, you always stay triangle between one support and then one extra, like this could be anyone, and then one carry. So always one support, one carry, and then like an extra friend. The way you do this and the way that this works is basically you're all in range to help each other out, and you're moving sort of as a free, slowly taking the space together, and then also moving to cover all the backness and weakness. You're always going to be keenly aware if like you do a double support type this, like where you have the tank and you have the support. You're always going to be aware, oh look, like that carry could be in danger, I'm ready to go back and help. And the carry is always ready to follow up with damage and maybe even find a pickoff. It's always going to work better for you. Another thing is like what I call the 30-second scout. Like everyone will see that the timer becomes 30 seconds. That's like the moment where everyone's minds in the game are thinking out these objectives. That's the moment as well where you have to stop being dumb about how you scout things. You can scout stupidly before 30. You can run into bushes and you can be a little bit more aggressive. And obviously, like, don't die, but like you can be a bit more aggressive. But at 30 seconds, you need to be keenly aware the enemy are looking to go and like, you know, make that pick off, make that free kill, change the game if they're in a losing position, or, you know, cement their victory. You need to be keenly aware to start grouping up, to start, you know, moving in a safe pattern, checking bushes correctly, making sure your teammates are safe and, you know, are grouped up in a certain way, like acknowledging the enemy threats. So these are the two different types of techniques I like to do to fix that last issue. So I feel like in this video, we've already covered pretty much the most interesting and powerful ways I like to say within a few games that can fix most of the mistakes you're making and instantly find the direct impact on your rank results. So, however, it's still possible. You still have a long way to go. Like, and there, obviously, we're all learning about how different and new ways you can play this game. So, obviously, sub to the channel, like the video, and, you know, let me know what you found the most helpful out of this, so I can make more videos about that. Have more coming up. So, you know, stay tuned.